Yo, 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 what's going on? Here we are in Singapore. As you can see, it's absolutely pouring rain. There you go, let me show you the famous building. There it is back there. I'm gonna do my best for a little YouTube review here. I'm gonna talk loud because of the rain. Sam Long Media Company, I didn't come super prepared. I didn't bring my wireless mic. I didn't bring all that stuff. So this is just shot on the iPhone. I don't know if I'm gonna have much footage. I'll try and put some photos with it and even just some of my experience here in Singapore. So let's get down to the details of the race. 5th place again, so 5th place at US Open, 5th place here, ranked 2nd in the world. No, 3rd in the world right now, currently. That's gonna change because of this race, because Jason West is almost definitely gonna pass me, and he deserves to pass me. He's had an absolute terrific year, another terrific race, but 3 terrific races, all at the PTO races. And so, how do I feel? The short answer is, I'm happy, but I'm unhappy, right? Like, for me, this, and I don't want to bash myself on the swim. I know all the haters, you guys are going to go off on the comments and you guys are going to bash me on my swim, but you know, I had Tri Ratings rank me. I looked at the seedings. I was seeded 2nd to last. I swam 2nd to last. I saw the depth of the field. We had 8 out of the top 10 swimmers in long course here. The only guys we were missing were Jan and Alistair Brownlee of the front pack swimmers, as well as then we had the guys who are just off that. So, you know, to be honest, I in my head I knew, okay, I'm likely going to be swimming on my own. But emotionally, when you get out there as an athlete, it's a whole different experience than when you're all on your own. And so that was tough for me. I mean, I feel I did my best. I feel I've actually made a lot of improvements in the swim. The swim was just, it was so flippin' hot. Oh my God, it was like swimming in a bathtub for me. And obviously I'm a big lad. I use a lot of energy, I think, when I swim. I've improved a lot, but I think it was just like the water was 1 degree too hot Celsius for me. My body was overheating, and I just really had to stay positive on that swim and say, okay, this is where I am. I'm committed to the process. I'm doing the best I can, and good things take time. Everything good in life takes time. And so I got out of that swim. The crowd was absolutely electric, right? It was this weird, it was this contrast, right? This juxtaposition is, I got out of the water, like feeling totally down on the dumps on myself, like just not in a great headspace, but I will say, like, better than I've done in the past. Like, I was still staying mentally strong and staying in a good place, but then the crowd was electric. They were just so happy to see me all the way out here in Singapore. And so then I was like, okay, let's just get to work. And I got on the bike and I could see the whole packs working together. This was definitely a course where if you were with others, there was a huge benefit, but just kind of got to work. And I have to say, I was still overheated from that swim. I think there were 10 laps on the bike. It took me about 5 laps to cool off just from the swim. Like, I didn't find the bike itself to be hot, but my core temp got so high from that swim that I was just still trying to cool off to the best of my abilities. And at first, nobody was coming back, you know, because there were basically 2 U-turns per lap, so in 10 laps. So I got to see where the leaders were and where everyone else was in front of me 20 times. And at first, nobody was coming towards me, and but it didn't really matter. At this point, I was just like, okay, I'm doing my best effort. I'm doing my best effort for L squared, and L squared for me stands for Laura and Leo, right? So I was like, okay, there she is. She's at home with the newborn, taking care of him, up all night feeding him. So just was doing my best, and suddenly at like lap 5, I think a lot of people who were in over their heads started to come back to me, and I started to make some significant progress up there, which was great. The course, they somehow shortened the bike course a little from the women to the men. They got one of the U-turns wrong, so the course was like 2 miles short. So I actually thought we had 1 more lap. I think most people did, but anyways, would have been nice to have another 2 miles on the bike. Anything I can get on the bike is important, and you know, that's another 5 minutes of riding. So 5 more minutes of riding would have made a difference. Onto the run, I got off on the run. I started the run in 9th place, and I quickly set my goal, like, okay, let's just match what I did at the PTO US Open, right? Top 5, let's just match that. It seemed realistic. Jason quickly took off. I came in transition like 20 seconds behind him. And I quickly caught a few guys. Well, not quickly, but, you know, within like the first lap, so 6K, I caught a few guys, and then I could see Daniel Backergaard was ahead, and, you know, I have so much respect for the guy. We've actually had, there's Lionel. I've had the most battles with Lionel, and I think Daniel would be right up next with there. I've had so many battles with Daniel over the middle distance, and he had a great race on the bike, and I thought, okay, this is going to be a stretch to catch him, but was doing my best, saving it up for a hard last lap. Unfortunately, on the last lap, I think I was quite dehydrated, so like I got a pretty severe stomach stitch with the last lap, and all the crowd is again going electric. They're like, go, you can chase Daniel down. He's like 30 seconds ahead, but I'm honestly like almost having to stop and like push my stomach in because I'm like, ugh, you know, like I was just so dehydrated there. And so I actually had to like ignore the crowd and say, okay, Sam, deep breath. Let's find that Buddhist monk. Let's breathe into that stomach and try and calm down and get the muscle to relax. So I spent, you know, the final lap, the first half of that doing that, and then it thankfully went away. So then I tasted the blood. I started to chase Daniel down. And right as I was about to pass him with about a mile left, Dennis Cherveau came flying past like a cheetah. And it was game time. I just said, okay, let's go and roll with Dennis. It actually felt great. Like you'd say, oh, that must have been so hard. It pushed me to the limit. But here's the thing. I had been doing a solo time trial for 3 hours and 20 minutes, right? All on my own on the swim, all on my own on the bike, all on my own on the run. That finally I was like, this is actually racing. This is the first time I've raced all day. And that was definitely the most fun moment of the day. And Dennis beat me. I mean, he's one of the best runners in the sport, but I was really happy with my belief and my commitment. And so I ended up fifth, 2 times fifth place at these PTO US Open, not the US Open, Singapore and US Open. And I've actually never been outside of the top 10 in a PTO 100K race since Daytona 2020. So, well, in the end, I think I set a great example of, okay, you can still move up, right? I've moved up 15 places over the course of the race from 14, from 19th up to 5th. And so there's a lot to be happy about, but like I'm working really hard on my swim and I want to be better, but again, it takes time. And I think like, I guess it shows that I had courage to come here. I think like a lot of the guys who have a weaker swim like me, they've just bailed from doing these races, and it would have been great to have those allies. But next year, I think I'm going to work really hard, continue to work really hard on the swim, and I think it's within grasping distance. And when I get into that main pack, the racing's going to completely change. And so that's the quick update. Of course, great to come to Singapore, great to see what it's like. I will say, like, right, having the newborn, having Laura at home, like, it's sort of a tough time, right? Like, obviously we're overwhelmed with joy and love and passion for the baby, but like, it's not easy on a new mom to be taking care of a newborn without the dad there, and so that weighs heavily. So I think, right, at PTO US Open 5th, I was like stoked. It was 48 hours after the birth. My expectations were lower, but then here, I think in part because you're leaving two people at home, you wanna be there for them, and it's like I came here for more the, you know, I mean, if we look at the financials, they changed the prize money. The PTO changed the prize money of these races drastically. 5th place a year ago, I'd be stoked at both of these races from a financial standpoint of providing for my family. And this year, I'll be honest, it doesn't really add up that much when you add in the expenses of traveling to Singapore. When you look at there's no sponsor bonuses, it doesn't add up in the way you want it to add up. And but of course, you still got to come. You got to race the best. I always look forward to racing the best. And I view this race as, well, one, I'm never going to forget that feeling, right? I can always carry this with me. I'm never going to forget that feeling of what it's like to swim on your own with everyone up in front. It's lonely, it's humiliating, it's devastating, and I'm going to carry that with me. That's the one thing I got back out of the race, and I wrote that down. Do not, whatever happens, the result doesn't really matter from this race. None of that matters, but do not forget that feeling of humiliation. Do not forget that feeling of that, where I'm out there and I'm like, I need to be better than that. I need to be better than that, and I'm going to carry that with me all winter, and that's my big focus. And then I also feel I just got good information on what it takes to succeed at these races as things continue to progress. And it's a totally different race than, even though it's not much different than a 70.3 in terms of the distances, how you have to race it, the strategy, the dynamics. It's really turning more into a draft legal race. And so, yeah, up next now I go to Helsinki. I fly to Helsinki today. Really looking forward to 70.3 Worlds. I have another 8 days. No, I have 1 week, 7 more days away from the baby and Laura. So that's that. I'm going to focus the best I can. I'm sending them love. Please keep sending them all our support and love. Laura needs all of it. She's really the true trooper out here. And thank you guys all for the support. It was great to get all the fans, all the cheering in Singapore. Yo, yo, yo is truly in every corner of the world. So thank you guys all so much. you know, we have to dare to dream. We have to dare to go for it. And if you want to be the best, of course you're not going to be totally happy with 5th, but if I look at my own individual process, my own racing, I actually feel I had a better race than PTO US Open, just how the dynamics, the field, obviously guys like Christian had a much better day out there, and it is what it is. So put a smile on my face and keep trying to get better. Cheers, see y'all later.